Hey there, Wes Dove with Dove Development and Consulting. Not so long ago, in one of our Leading at the Next Level lessons, I did a lesson, really built the whole thing around, it was designed at recruitment and retention, but it wasn't from an HR person's perspective, the perspective that I was kind of trained to really look at those topics at through that lens over the last decade or so. What I really tried to focus that on was leadership matters, and it was really intended for the folks that are frontline leaders that impact every day whether an employee is really happy and engaged with what they're doing in the workforce. And we took that same lesson, Cindy and I did, and a few weeks afterward, early in the year, back in January, I believe, we adapted that to really be designed to top of the organization leaders. We do a group called Executive Leadership Lead Think Tank that we meet with about 10 business owners, general managers, CEOs, high-level leaders once a quarter, and we go through a 4-hour session and we design something that's really specific for them. But we were able to take that lesson in Leading at the Next Level and adapt it to be at two different really focuses of leadership. Now, one of the things that we were not able to do is go into a ton of detail why it really matters. Recently read a book called When, the Scientific Secrets of Perfect Timing by Daniel Pink, and I've got that here. You'll see me glance at that over the next little bit. In that book, Daniel Pink cites a study by a guy named Duncan Watts, who at the time of the study was a Columbia University sociologist, and he's now a principal researcher for Microsoft Research. And he says the longer it takes for a boss to respond to their emails, the less satisfied people are with their leader. And along those lines, so that was something that really caught my attention in that responsiveness, feeling connected. And recently I had the opportunity to work with a group of construction foremen for a client that I do a good bit of work with, and we talked about a chapter out of John Maxwell's Leadership Gold from I think around 2010. John wrote the book when he turned 70, or I mean 60 rather, so maybe it was back in 2007 or 2008, but regardless, he has a chapter in that book called People Quit People, Not Companies, and he really goes into the thoughts of, when we join a company, there's a reason for that. We like what the company stands for. We like the culture that we hear about in the company. We like what we see. Maybe it's the pay, it's the benefits, it's whatever. But when we leave, it's rarely those things. And rarely do those things change significantly in the process. And in that book, John talks about four specific things are in that chapter that people quit people who do these things to them. So as an employee, as a team member, what might cause me to be disengaged, what might cause me to just get frustrated and push the clutch in, or begin looking at another job. Let's be honest, when we're in a 3% unemployment market, if I'm actively and gainfully employed, I can usually find, and I'm kind of the decision maker at that point. If I want to find something else, and I don't feel like these four things are in place, then why not look? And one of those things is they quit people that don't value them. They quit people that they don't trust. They quit people that aren't competent in the skill set that they're really trying to lead people in, and they quit people that that are insecure, the people that won't really pass on the knowledge because they're afraid that, hey, my people on my team, they might pass me, they might get better than me, so I want to keep them at arm's length. I want to make sure that they're not growing and leading. So those are four characteristics that people will end up leaving over, is according to what John shares in this chapter. Now, over the next several days in A Daily Dose of Leadership, that's when I want to build this around. I want to take the next couple days and really speak into those four different things: the lack of trustworthiness, the lack of competency, the lack of valuing the people on the team, and the insecurity in a leader, if they're called a leader at that point, that people will get frustrated with and ultimately leave. So it's going to tie back to what we talked about several months ago in this series, but also in Leading at the Next Level, and even in the Executive Leadership Lead Think Tank lesson, to where we talk about recruitment and retention, but through a lens of how do we, when we want people to stay, when we want to attract the right people in the organization, or even if we want to make sure that we're building a culture of engagement to where people are really giving it their all and they're bought into the company's mission and vision, how do we do the things as leaders that really earn that buy-in? And these are just pieces of that puzzle. It goes a step beyond, in my opinion, what we talked about a few months back in those lessons. So that's what you can look forward to over the next coming days. I'm excited about it. Look forward to putting that together. And if you're part of Leading at the Next Level, stay tuned, because I think on May 1st, I'm going to build this into a full lesson as well. So look forward to seeing you soon. Hope you had a great Easter, and celebrate the reason for the season. Talk with you soon, and God bless.